All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, salutations to the hopeful elect that's fighting a good fight of faith in truth, in sincerity, and wholeheartedly. Shalom to the Akwath, which is the women believers. Shalom to you. Said, prepare your work without, make it fit for yourself in the field, and afterwards build your house. So, this scripture physically is literally talking about building a house. But in the spiritual aspect, your house is you. So I want to talk about faith. And faith is preparation and action. So when it said prepare your work without and make it fit for yourself in the field, when you go to Matthew 13:38, it said that the field is the world. And it said make it fit for yourself. The way that you prepare yourself in this truth is by separating things that can cause stumbling block, like people, situations. You have to know yourself, because as we getting close to the end, demons gonna turn up. People around you, they're gonna really show themselves who they really are. And as the scripture said, our fight is not against flesh and blood. So we dealing, with the spiritual realm. We got the demons. But remember, we got Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. But that is the condition of the battle. The Lord did not say it was going to be easy. So you have to prepare yourself. Prepare your work without and make it fit for yourself in the field. So you have to prepare and make the ministry the forefront of your life, and to erase all the stumbling blocks out of your life. Certain things you have to deal with. You can't just put away a woman if she ain't committing adultery or she ain't, coming between the truth. She might get on your damn nerves, but hey, that's something you got to deal with. Because that's scripture. The Lord said, the Lord put those two together, let them not put asunder. That's in Matthew 19. So, and afterwards build your house. So you have to understand what you're a part of. You got to count the costs. So after you prepare yourself, you remove stumbling blocks out your life. And after you make the ministry fit around, actually make the world fit around your ministry. Because, some of us have to go to work certain type of hours. Some of us is not working right now, but the thing is that the ministry got to be first, man. You can't expect the Lord to save you and you put the ministry second or third. Even you brothers and brothers who don't teach. If anything, you should be reading, you should be listening to videos. And that should be, you should be doing that a lot. Because the Lord is looking down on you, seeing what you're doing. Like if you're watching YouTube videos all day, I'm talking about, videos outside of the truth. And then you you read a chapter. So basically you say if you had 8 hours of free time and the Lord only get one, then you really have to, as the scripture said, examine yourself. Is this really what you about? So it's all about balance. Ain't nobody saying being over righteous. But you have to understand that anything in life, the more you put into something, the more you get out of it. If you go half-assed in this truth, you're going to get half-assed results. So faith is preparation and action. Because faith is not just professing with your mouth. Oh, I believe in Yahweh Shai. But then your actions don't show it. So going back to the counting the costs. So it said, if any man come to me, hate not his father, mother, wife, children, brother and sisters, yeah, even his own life, cannot be my disciple. That's a preparation. Because what you're doing is that these people are still in your life, but they don't control your life. They're not a stumbling block in your life. Because a hate is a strong dislike, which means you don't like the things that they do, so you separate yourself. If they want to celebrate Christmas and Halloween and Easter, fucking bunny rabbit laying eggs, then you separate from that. Allow them to do them. At the end of the day, the Lord called you. He ain't called them. And through you, like your wife, your children, the ones that's in your household, they could be saved if the Lord have mercy upon them. You know, your woman, children can't just be total demons. I don't see the Lord saving them, but we will see in due time. But that's the preparation right there. And it says, and whosoever do not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple, which showing you that you're going to have problems. Bearing a cross, that's a burden. You're going to have burdens in this world. Just from the first scripture above, these people that you grew up with, you knew them longer than you've been in the truth. And you separating yourself from them, you love them, right? Your whole world got to change. 2 Corinthians 5:17, you got to become a new creature. The old man got to pass away. The things that you used to desire got to go away. You're a new creature. When I was a child, I did childish things. Matter of fact, what is that? I think is it 1 Corinthians? I want to say 13 and 11. Yep, when I was a child, I spake as a child, and I understood as a child. I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. That's that new creature. So the Lord is telling you that you're going to have problems in the flesh. It's all through the scriptures. But you have to understand that. And yes, easier said than done. You know, certain situations that you go through, you get real down in the spirit, get depressed. Sometimes you might even ask the Lord to take you back to the spirit world, man, because it gets bad like that. But as it says in Psalms 30:5, it said, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. All right. So at the time that you're going through it, feel like it's hell. But when you wake up, as the scripture says, the inward man renew itself. So for which of you intended to build a tower, sit down first, count up the cost, whether he has sufficient to finish it. So when you prepare yourself, that starts off in the mind. And you have to really sit down. Counting the cost is examining yourself, which is a preparation. A preparation is to making something ready, setting something in order. And who is that thing or something? You. Preparation is setting yourself in order and making something ready. So when you sit down and count the cost, you're like, okay, all right, I do believe. All right, this thing I can't do like that no more. Oh, I can't be up her ass like that no more. Oh, I can't be the best dad in the world no more. That's why verse 26, the Lord said that, because in this world, and there's nothing wrong with it, but that's not the Lord's will. Trying to be the best family man, that's what this world push. And then a man of the Lord will be called a deadbeat because he don't see his children as much as he would like, because he either have to work, and on the weekends, that's the Lord day. But guess what? The woman who's calling you a deadbeat, or the world who's judging you, don't even understand that by the works that man is doing, his children have a way better chance of being saved than the children having a dad up their ass 24/7, playing catch, shooting hoops. That's why the scripture says in the spirit of truth whom the world cannot receive, because everything is the total opposite of what you learned. The Lord is the total opposite, man. So it said, less happily after he had laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him. And if you've been in the truth for a little bit, you've seen that over the years. You've seen people who, had a garment on, preaching on the streets, being very wise. And then what happened? Something ended up happening that they fall out. And then rebuke videos is all over the internet about them. So it begins to mock him because he didn't count the cost. Whatever happened, 9 times out of 10, he got offended, made him drop out the truth. Now the brothers that he was around rebuke videos, talk about how he was a demon, because you don't see the things that happen on the inside, because all you see is that man on camera. You be like, oh, really him? Dang, he was a good teacher too. I actually like that brother, Now everything begins to mock him. So that's why you have to count the cost and realize what you're a part of. And I'm talking to myself first. And it says, saying this man began to build, was not able to finish it. Because if you fall out the truth, boy, that judgment is going to be harsh. It was better that you have not known the truth, as the scripture says, than to fall out. Now the judgment is going to be many stripes. So now let's get into the action. Everybody should know this scripture. Even so, faith, it have not works, is dead being alone. Because if you say that you just believe and you don't do nothing, like I used to feel guilty back in the day when I received the truth. It just wasn't my time yet. The Lord, he do everything in people's time. But when I received the truth, and I used to see the men of the Lord out there, gloves on, coat on, I'm in the house in the heat, watching them, course studying, getting, my notes together, things like that. But that's you hiding your talent in a napkin, because a lot of people is going to be guilty of this, hiding your talent in a napkin. You got a lot of brothers who can teach but won't do it. So, so going back to, so just watching the brothers, they out there toiling in the highways and byways, having debates against demons and stuff like that. And you sitting here watching them on TV when you actually have the ability to teach yourself. So you can't tell the Lord like, oh, I do believe I was keeping the commandments. Listen, you can't even be saved by that. You can't be saved by just keeping the commandments when the scripture says that our righteousness comes from the belief in Yahushua. You want to know why we can't be saved by the commandments? Which means that don't mean that you don't have to keep it. Because that's what governs us. For any demon who be like, oh, well, if you can't keep the commandments or you can't get saved by the commandments, why keep the commandments? You got Christians who do that. That's demons. But if you offending one, you offending all, which means that you already lost. So Yahushua came down here, did what he had to do to reconcile us back to the Father, became the perfect sacrifice for us. Now he is our atonement. All right. So if you say when the Lord come back, oh, I kept the commandments. I didn't teach, but hey, I was a man of the Lord. I kept the high holy days, stuff like that. Listen, that's cool and all, but I gave you ability, to do more. To whom much is given, much is required. I found out the hard way. The Lord got me out here, on the highways and byways, and the way that he got me out here, I knew that it was time. Like, oh yeah, let me stop playing. All right. That all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for that, because I could have been guilty of what I'm talking about right now. So the point that I'm making is that, you can't just say that you believe and sit on the couch, do nothing. Especially being a man who actually knows, like at least go out to the camp in your area. You have no excuse for that, because then that's when the Lord's supping with you. And then you might even, when you get out there, this is what I found out. When you get out there, your spiritual juices start to flow. You start meeting brothers, stuff like that. You start talking to brothers. Now you having more spiritual conversations. When you are not around people who are like you don't have those type of conversations. So then what end up happening, the Lord, if you are meant to be a teacher, you will become a teacher. because you're around that environment. So, yeah, man may say you has faith and I have works. Show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. So if you see a man out there making his body a living sacrifice, that's action. That's his works. So to end it on this, in this video, it's not to, offend nobody. It's to light a fire under you. We see how close we are. Do you really want to be guilty of, having the ability to do something for the Lord and you just sitting on it? So it says, now, therefore, set your house in order, and your house is you. When you go to the Latin, the bodig, is your body. All right. This house our spirit. All right. So you got to set yourself in order and reprove your people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. So you got to get yourself in order first before you could tell anybody else to do anything, or to be a head of a church, or whatever the case may be, whatever the lot the Lord had for you. But you got to set yourself. That's called a preparation. All right. Remember, faith is preparation and action. Let go from you mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of men, put off now the weak nature. Most people don't go out to the highways and byways because the cares of this world. Ooh, what if my job see me? What if my girls start complaining? And I'm only going to use those two because those are be the main ones. Oh, matter of fact, let me use the third one. Ooh, it's too cold or it's too hot. Dang, I work all week. I got to get my weekend up. So though all of those are mortal thoughts. And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. Man, that's what our prayer should be. We should be begging the Lord to come, deliver us. Man, just reading the scripture just made me just think of something, man. Like, hell yeah, man. Fuck this place. Fuck this place, man. Because you go through things on a daily. And sometimes the things that you go through, it don't escape your mind. But we gotta hasty to flee from these times. Put off the mortal thoughts. For yet greater evil than those which you have seen happen shall be done hereafter. So, of course, the Lord talking to our prophet Ezra, and it was evil going on back there, nothing new under the sun. But he's saying that even more evil is going to come. Remember, Ezra is in he's in the end of the Babylonian going into the Medes and Persians. But what's after that? The Greeks. And you know what happened to us in the Maccabees. So from the Maccabees all the way up until now, greater evils have happened. And guess what? Even more greater evils is coming in these days. Jacob's trouble. For look how much the world shall be wicked through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. For the time is fled far away, and leasing is hard at end. For now haste of the vision to come, which you have seen. So the way that you prepare yourself is by getting yourself together, setting yourself in order, understanding that, what you're a part of, the action, doing something for the Lord, not just sitting on your butt. So you got to count the cost. You got to understand what you're a part of. And this video is more of a spiritual rant. I just had these scriptures in my head and I want to speak on it because I'm sitting here thinking, when you have hard days and you just thinking like, man, I hope the Lord continue to keep supping with me, dealing with me, man. Sometimes I feel like the Lord ain't dealing with you. I feel like the Lord taking his spirit away from you because when you're going through something, you'd be like, man, I hope I can get through this day. But that's where faith kick in. That's where preparation kick in, because most of the problems that we go through are self-inflicted. And that's why you have to prepare yourself. You have to, separate from stumbling blocks, and you have to continue to keep the faith. So hopefully this video is edifying and shalom.